What's up, JJ&E fans? In today's video, we're going to be discussing who really is the top 10 NBA players of right now. Number 1, Lego. So first, I got LeBron James for my number 1. He's been the best player over the past decade and shows no sign of slowing down. He's so dominant that he's been the best player for so long, and it's just he won't stop.
Actually, I think for number 1, Kevin Durant. He's a giant 7-footer, great shooter, and extremely athletic. He deserves to be above LeBron because his length and wingspan outsizes any player.
For my number 2, I said Anthony Davis because he's one of the most skilled defenders in the league we have right now. Personally, I think behind Kawhi Leonard, and doing that so he's still averaging 30 points a game, and he's just a freak. He can block anyone's shot, he can steal anyone's dribble, and I think that in the coming years he's gonna take LeBron's crown.
Okay, so I gotta say number 2, LeBron James. Just great athlete, incredibly fast, great dunker, good shooter, does everything extremely well, and definitely one of the best players in the NBA.
I think that LeBron is number 1 because you have such a good example for LeBron James to be number 1. So I just think that he's a better number 1.
I mean, honestly, I know the stats show it, but I still think Durant has a better athleticism than LeBron James. And
athleticism, really? I mean, honestly, the reason I'd put Kevin Durant in anything is because of his shooting and really just his smoothness. I think LeBron is definitely the best athlete in the NBA, maybe behind Giannis. Okay, for number 3, I got, again, Kevin Durant, but not because of his athleticism, because he is one of the best mid-range shooters in the NBA, still one of the best three-point shooters, and some people say he still has a weakness on defense, but actually he's been very improved over his defense over the past few years, and it's just gonna get better. A lot of people call him a snake for joining the Warriors, and it's totally true. But I think that he, you can't take away anything from him for being that.
Okay, for number 3, I mean, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I'm gonna have to go Anthony Davis. I just think incredible shot blocker, just good scorer general. He also has pretty good shooting for someone his size, and still pretty young, and has had a terrific season so far.
Yeah, about Anthony Davis, I mean, he just has a big future. Like I said, I think he's going to take the crown from LeBron James in the near future. So for number 4, I got Kawhi Leonard. The reason I did this, and the reason I also said that Anthony Davis wasn't the best defender, is because Kawhi Leonard is. He can guard anyone in the NBA, including LeBron, including Durant, and really, those players are seen as unguardable, but yet there's people guarding them that can do it with amazing effort and agility. So also, another reason is because I'm not saying he's better than LeBron or anything, but when he was facing LeBron, he got a Finals MVP, and it was against LeBron. He beat LeBron's team and still got a Finals MVP, and I think that is incredibly hard to do, especially because he was 22 at the time.
Now, for me, number 4, gotta say James Harden. Just incredible player, won the MVP last year. He's an incredible three-point shooter, creates his own space, does everything by himself. This year so far has been running the Rockets all by himself, and he's still been doing great. Great scorer, and even though his defense over the years has not been very good, he's been a little bit better lately, and even with that not great defense, I think he still deserves to be number 4 in that year.
Yeah, I mean, basically stole the words out of my mouth. I was about to say that James Harden was going to be number 5 player. He's just so He's just so smooth, and even though a lot of people take a lot of credit from him for doing stuff like getting a lot of fouls or traveling, but the fact that he can do that without the refs calling it is a skill in itself. So I think he's not getting enough credit for being able to do that. So yeah, my number 5 is James Harden.
Okay, yeah, so I'm going to go for my number 5, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, I know no one can say his name, so I spelled it incredibly wrong on my list, but okay, let's go. So, incredibly fast, ferocious dunker, with great defense, great rebounding, an incredible score, and already one of the NBA's top players at his young age.
Yeah, I mean, again, stole the words right out of my mouth. I have him as my number 6. And like about Giannis, he's just so good. He's the second most dominant player in the league, in my opinion, behind LeBron James. He can just take over any game. And right now, the Bucks are currently the number 1 team in the NBA. And really, he doesn't have much company. You could say he has Middleton, he has Bledsoe, he has Brogdon, but they aren't really in the superstar category as, for example, like Kevin Durant has Stephen Curry, or James Harden has Chris Paul. Injured, but he's injured. But I think that for him to be on the best team in the league without much help is incredible.
Okay, so now I'm going to have to go for number 6, Joel Embiid. Just a great center, pretty young, great scorer, shot blocker, he can even shoot a little, and just a great player at his young age. I think he really deserves his number 6 and could turn out to be one of the top players in the NBA in the next few years.
So great. So I said 7. So for my number 7, I have Stephen Curry. I mean, he's not even a debate. He's the best shooter of all time. He can just pop up from anywhere, and despite getting hated by the refs, I mean, he gets no calls. He shoots very little free throws for the skill that he has. I think despite that, he still earns the number 7 spot.
Okay, so actually for my number 7, I'm going to have to go for Kawhi Leonard. And I mean, I know he's pretty good at offense, but I'm just going to focus right here all on his defense. Incredible. Defense should be, even though this is not right now in the NBA, defense should be ranked just as high as offense. You can keep a player down to that scores 30 points a night down to 15. It's as good as putting an extra 15 points on your stats. So, Kawhi Leonard, pretty good at offense, but his defense is just so good. I think he really deserves number 7.
I can totally agree with all the points that you said for Kawhi Leonard, but honestly, I think he's a lot better than number 7. I mean, you have a lot of players up there like Joel Embiid that I think aren't really as good as Kawhi. I mean, you have a lot of good points, but I think he should be higher than number 7. For example, I put him at number 4. Okay, for the number 8 spot, I have Russell Westbrook. And so the reason I put him at number 8 is because he's averaged a triple-double now twice in 2 different seasons, winning the MVP in one of them, but yet last year he got very overlooked because of averaging a triple-double. I mean, the only other person to do that was Oscar Robertson. I mean, he's just incredible. And some people say he's a stat packer, but you can't just be a stat packer. If Matthew Dellavedova was a stat packer, he wouldn't get any much more stats than he would normally. So you have to be very skilled in order to stat pack successfully, and that's what Russell Westbrook has done. Even though you can't really respect that of him, you can't take away any of that from him. Your number 8?
Okay, my number 8, gotta go Steph Curry now. Incredible shooter, and for the past few years, leads the team to NBA Finals, and except for the time against the Cavs, just wins them all. So yeah, great shooter, just leading an incredible team to the Finals and winning every year.
Yeah. So for my number 9, I have Joel Embiid. Right now, the Sixers are the number 4 spot in the East behind the Pacers, the Bucks, and the Raptors. And I think it's only fair to put Joel Embiid up there because even before they had Jimmy Butler, he was still balling, and their team was still balling. And I think that he, being only 24 years old, he still has like a big future ahead of him, and hopefully someday he'll be number 1 on the list.
Yeah, so now we're up to number 9. I have to say Russell Westbrook. I mean, he averaged a triple-double. That's incredible. Great score. The only reason I wouldn't put him higher on this list is because of his inconsistent shooting. I just think that's in today's NBA, shooting is such an important part that not being able to do it is a really kind of really chink in the armor. So yeah, I'm putting him at number 9.
Okay, so for our number 10 and final spot, I have Kyrie Irving. I mean, being a Celtics fan, you just watch the guy play every night, just carrying the Celtics, like, with all these dribble moves. He can cross up a guy, and he can do that blindfold. I mean, he's just one of the best ball handlers we've ever seen. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Allen Iverson, even though I wasn't around at Allen Iverson's time. I've seen footage, and he reminds me a lot of him.
Okay, so number 10, I'm going to go Damian Lillard. Stay great scorer. I think he's a little bit underrated in the NBA, but yeah, just great scorer, incredibly clutch player, good driving, drawing the foul, good dribbler, and great shooter. So yeah, I think even though he's probably a little bit underrated, I think he deserves to be on this list of the top 10 players in the NBA.
Okay, so that's going to wrap it up. We're just going to wrap it up with one thing that we dislike about the other person's list. So I'm going to go ahead and say I don't understand why he put LeBron James at his number 2. I think that he's rightfully the number 1 player, and he's been so for the past decade.
Okay, and I'm going to have to say Kawhi Leonard. I don't think even though he's 4 on the list, I still think that James Harden, Antetokounmpo, Steph Curry are still better than him, just better overall players. I mean, I just think that's a little bit off. I think Kawhi should be 6, 7, not 4. So yeah, okay. So
yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. If you did enjoy, please like and subscribe and comment what your top 10 players is, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.